Hello and welcome to Problem Statements. This video is designed to facilitate the collaborative work you're about to do. This exercise helps teams literally step into the shoes of the people they're trying to understand from their first-person perspective. It's a powerful tool that can be used to understand the problems from the consumer's perspective or from the perspective of a diverse client stakeholder group. Hopefully by this point you've already done some of the prep work. Things like determining the focus of who you're trying to better understand. If you happen to have research on your audience, pull that up now so that you can reference it. All right, before we dive in, make sure everyone has shared access to the problem statement template. Take a moment to pause this video and do that now if you need. All right, let's dive right in. For the next 3 minutes, quickly reground yourself in the problem space. Discuss the topic and the goals of your time together. Discuss those needs that your team has gathered together to try to better understand. We're going to run the timer for 3 minutes. Great. Now that everyone's on the same page on what you're actually trying to do, the next step is to dive right in and spend the next 20 minutes to start to generate some problem statements together. To get set up, spend a couple of minutes to quickly get yourselves organized. All right, first, figure out if you need to break yourselves out into smaller groups. If you have more than 4 people on your team, take a few moments to kind of organize yourselves into groups of maybe 2 and 3 into breakout rooms. Second, assign each person or group separate lines in the template as their row on the template to write in. This is where they're going to start. As teams are writing multiple statements, they can start to use other rows, but it's a good way to have a starting point so that everyone isn't trying to write at the start of the first row, which is usually what happens. Hit pause now and continue the video when you're ready to proceed. Now for the rest of your 20 minutes, write your problem statements. Start by imagining the person or groups of people that you're trying to step into the perspective of. Then take a moment to consider, what are they trying to do? What barriers are keeping them from accomplishing that? Why do those barriers even exist? And how does the current state make that person feel? Do this individually to begin, or in your small groups. We suggest doing this heads down and silently before you dive right in and start writing. Remember, there can be more than one problem statement written out for each person or groups of people. Especially if they have multiple needs that they're experiencing and multiple barriers or have lots of different feelings as a result of what's happening. We're going to run the timer for 15 minutes for you to do this exercise. Great job. Now take a moment to reconvene everyone. As a team, now you'll spend the next 15 minutes reflecting across all the problem statements, and you're going to look for the perspectives that you've generated. First, silently and individually, spend a few minutes to reflect and capture your thoughts on the reflection and discussion portion of the template. What do you see happening with people's needs across the problem statements? Any patterns? Why is that occurring? What should be occurring? What happens if these problems aren't addressed? Any positive actions or ideas come to mind? Also, feel free to use this time to clarify any questions or revise any statements as you need. Now we're going to run the timer for 5 minutes. All right, now for the next 8 minutes, discuss your reflections as a team. Pay special attention to insights that are surfacing that offer a fresh, people-centered view into the problem. We'll run the timer for 8 minutes. Great job. At this point, your team should be filled with fresh, people-centered perspectives on your problem space. Now, as a team, discuss opportunities to articulate and reframe your problem space differently. What were your incoming views on the problem space before actually doing this exercise? How is your perspective of the problem space different now? For the next 12 minutes, discuss as a team. Assign a volunteer to capture and sort your insights as they're being shared. Now we'll run the timer for 12 minutes. Congratulations, you're almost done. As a team, for the next 5 minutes, discuss and consider your next steps. What are your key takeaways and outcomes from this process? What should your next steps be? More research? Brainstorm ideas? Share with other stakeholders, maybe internal or the client? We're going to run the timer for 5 minutes for you to discuss.